The fifth day is over. We have already covered the first chapter of the Sutta, all its different sections. This section of the chapter of Kaya-anupassana, examining the body, observing the body. Now we come to the next, Vedana-anupassana. Kaya-anupassana is not complete without Vedana-anupassana, because the Sutta does not want us just to play intellectual game. It is anupassana, continuously you have to experience the truth. So the body is no body for you unless you feel the body. Actually, this Vedana or feeling plays the most important part in all the 4 chapters. Because when we will come to the mind and mental contents, the Dhammas, then also you have to feel them, not merely play an intellectual game. This tradition gives so much importance to Vedana, to feeling, because without Vedana there is no Sampajanya. And without Sampajanya there is no Panya. And without Panya there is no Vipassana. And without Vipassana there is no Satipatthana. There is no liberation. Therefore, Vedana for us is absolutely essential. And Vedana, which makes one understand how things arise and pass away. You have a tangible understanding of anicca, of samudaya, of vaya, arising, passing, and it is possible only at the level of Vedana. If you just feel a sensation, and you don't appreciate or you can't appreciate the nature of arising and passing, then again it is not Sampajanya, it is not Panya, it is not Vipassana, it is not Satipatthana. The understanding of arising and passing at the level of Vedana is absolutely essential. When you don't practice Vipassana, you take any object, say the first paragraph of the first chapter, Anapana, the breath coming in, breath going out. You take this as the object of your awareness, as the object of your concentration. You keep on working on this, and you will get wonderful samadhi, deep absorption samadhi. The first deep absorption samadhi called first jhana, and then second deeper one, the second jhana, and the third still deeper, and the fourth still deeper. And quite possible along with respiration you feel sensation also. But there is no appreciation of arising, passing. And then from fourth jhana onwards, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, then you imagine your mind, merely mind, forgetting all about the body, merely the mind expanding limitlessly. Again, it's merely samadhi. Jhana has nothing to do with Vipassana. Buddha tried this. Before he became Buddha, he went to two teachers, Alar Kalam, from whom he learned the 7 jhanas, and then he went to Uddak Ramput, from whom he learned the 8th jhana. And a lot of purification was attained by these jhanas, there is no doubt about that. But when he examined himself deep inside, he found that there are sankharas, still there are deep-rooted sankharas, which he called Anusaya Kalesha. Kalesha means impurities, the sankharas, Anusaya. Anu, which continue to follow, say, sleeping. Sleepingly at the deepest level of the mind, they keep on following with the mind from one life to the other, from one life to the other. And one or the other will raise its head at the time of death, and again, with a new birth, the rest will keep on following. These are like sleeping volcanoes. They are there. Anytime, an eruption can be there. Unless these impurities at such depth are not taken out, this person says, I am not liberated. I don't accept that I am liberated. I have to find out some other way. So after practicing this 8 jhana, he tried one other way, torturing the body, and found that nothing is attained by that. And then working, investigating, he came to this Vipassana. Observing respiration as you started observing the sensations, and with the sensation, the understanding of arising, passing, anicca. The key to liberation was found. And he continued to work on this. Then these very jhanas, the absorption samadhis, which he had practiced up to 8 jhana, and which he called Lokiya jhana. Lokiya means the result of these jhanas, the result of these samadhis, still keeps one rotating in this universe, from this plane to that plane, from this plane to that plane. It does not take one out of this rotation. When he added Vipassana to it, when he added Sampajanya to it, when he added the experience of arising and passing to it, these very jhanas, they turned into Lokottar jhana. Because with this absorption samadhi, along with that, the fruit, the Nibbanic fruit also was attained. So Lokiya jhana, the jhana which keeps us rotating in these universal planes, became Lokottar dhyana. And that is what was the contribution of Buddha to the mankind. And that was attained with Vedana. Therefore, Vedana is so important for us. Now this Vedananupassana. Kathanchapana bhikkhave Vedanasu Vedananupassi viharati. How one meditates, how one observes Vedana in Vedana. Like Kaya in Kaya, body in body. So Vedana in Vedana. And the same will come later on, the Chitta, the mind in mind. And then the Dhamma in Dhamma. What is this? Kaya in Kaya, body in body. And what is this? Vedana in Vedana, or mind in mind, or Dhamma in Dhamma. That means there is no imagination involved. Not that you are just sitting and imagining a body, as if you are observing a body at the imagination level. You feel that you are standing outside and you are examining this body. Nothing like that. You imagine as if you are outside and you are examining the feelings on the body. As if you are outside and you are examining your mind. You are outside, you are examining the contents of the mind. Nothing like that. It must be there. That means with direct experience. The body, you have to feel the body. There is nobody separate to feel it. The body in body. So the feeling in feeling. One has to feel the feeling in the feeling. No imagination involved. No intellectualization involved. You have to directly feel the feeling. In this sense, Vedanasu Vedananupassi Viharati. Idabhikkave bhikkhu Sukhangava Vedanang Vedayamano Sukhanga Vedanang Vedayami Tipajanati. When one experiences a pleasant sensation, one understands, yes, I am experiencing a pleasant sensation, Sukha Vedana. Then, Dukkhanga Vedanang Vedayamano Dukkhanga Vedayami Tipajanati. And when one experiences an unpleasant sensation, a painful sensation, then one realizes, yes, look, I am experiencing now a painful, unpleasant sensation. As it is. Ad-dukkham sukham va vedanang vedayamano ad-dukkham sukham vedanang vedayami tipajanati. And if one is experiencing a neutral sensation, which is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, then one understands, well, look, this is a neutral sensation. It is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Now, in the language of those days and the language of Buddha, the feeling that one experiences on the body, he uses these words, Sukha Vedana, Dukha Vedana, pleasant, unpleasant. What one feels merely at the mental level, he uses the word Somanassang, Domanassang, a pleasant feeling of the mind, a pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling of the mind. And here he is not using those words Somanassang, Domanassang. He is using Sukha Vedana, Dukha Vedana, and neutral Vedana. Although mind is always involved, body by itself cannot feel. The feeling part of the mind feels the sensations, but the base is the body. This has to be kept in mind, that when Vedananupashyana has to be practiced, it must be the sensation on the body. And then next, Sami Sangava Sukhanga Vedananga Vedayamano Sami Sanga Sukhanga Vedananga Vedayami Tipajanati. When the pleasant sensation is samis, he understands that the pleasant sensation now is samis. Nirami Sangava Sukhanga Vedananga Vedayamano Nirami Sanga Sukhanga Vedananga Vedayami Tipajanati. When this pleasant sensation is niramis, he understands now the pleasant sensation is niramis. Now these two words, samis, niramis. Even in today's Indian languages, the word niramis means vegetarian food and samis means non-vegetarian food. What vegetarian or non-vegetarian has got to do? But the meaning was pure or impure. When he says samis, then it's impure. And when he says niramis, he means pure. How can a sensation be pure or impure? And then one has to understand what is pure. A sensation which comes because of a proper meditation of vipassana. Although it is pleasant, you are not reacting to it with craving or clinging, then this sensation leads you towards purity, and that is why it is pure. In that sense, it is pure. Same kind of pleasant sensation may come when you are involved in any kind of sensual pleasures. With the sensual pleasure, a pleasant sensation comes, and you react to this pleasant sensation to increase more and more of your sensual pleasures. You develop more of craving and more of clinging. Then this very pleasant sensation is unwholesome for you, is impure. It makes your mind more and more impure, which helps the more and more rotation in the misery. You are not coming out of misery. But when it is samis, you do nothing. You just observe. Well, look, this is impure. A reaction is going on. And you just observe. And as you observe, your reaction becomes weaker, weaker, weaker. You come out of it. And when you find it in Niramish, look, there is no reaction. This is just equanimity, an observation, objectively. You are just observing. And you find this faculty of observing objectively increases, increases, increases. This is law of nature. What you have to do is just observe, do nothing. Things are happening and you just observe. You just observe. Pajanati. Pajanati is just observation. And then again, similarly, Sami sangava dukkhanga vedananga vedayamano Sami sang dukkhanga vedananga vedayami te pajanati. When an unpleasant sensation is samis, that means impure, which leads to impurity, one understands now this unpleasant sensation that I am experiencing is samis because I am reacting to it. And similarly, Niramisangava dukkhanga vedananga vedayamano Niramisanga dukkhanga vedananga vedayami te pajanati. The same kind of dukkha sensation, the unpleasant sensation, and one notices that I am not reacting to it. So it leads towards purity. It is niramis. One just accepts the reality as it is. This is samis. The pleasant sensation, samis or niramis. The unpleasant sensation, samis or niramis. And similarly, samisangava ad-dukkham asukham vedanang vedayamano samisang ad-dukkham asukham vedanang vedayami te pajanati. Similarly, the neutral sensation, samis or niramisangava ad-dukkham asukham vedanang vedayamano niramisanga ad-dukkham asukham vedanang vedayami te pajanati. The neutral also, if it is niramis, it is niramis. If it leads to purity, it leads to purity. You understand it. If it is samis, it leads to impurity. You are aware, you understand, look, this is leading to impurity. Just observe. And then after this, all this, you will find in every chapter and every paragraph of each chapter, you will notice that these stations are there. Iti ajjattangava vedana su vedananupassi viharati. Inside one feels sensations. Bahiddhava vedana su vedananupassi viharati. Outside one feels sensations. Ajjatta bahiddhava vedana su vedananupassi viharati. Both inside and outside one feels these sensations. These are important stations. In this tradition, when we say ajjat, it is feeling sensations inside the body. When we say bahid, feeling sensation on the surface of the body. And later on you feel both simultaneously as you move through the entire structure, physical structure. Well, there is another school where the ajjata is taken as the feeling on one's own body, and bahidda as feeling on somebody else's body. And ajjatta bahidda, sometimes the sensation on one's own body and sometimes on other person's body, and then again one's body and then again other person's body. This tradition does not accept this. And those who are working on it, they find quite logical that when you are alone in a aranya, in a jungle, or under a tree, or in a sunyagar, in a cell where you are just meditating alone, there is no possibility of you are feeling sensations of others. But then the argument comes that sometimes a monk goes out for his begging bowl, for his food, and there he may come across people, and then he can feel their breath, he can feel their sensations. There again, it doesn't sound very logical, because a meditator is asked to keep the eyes downcast, just 2 steps, 4 steps, okkhita chakku. A serious, deep meditator has to keep the eyes downcast when one is walking. Can't see here and there, is not supposed to see here and there. When your eyes are just downcast, how can you feel somebody else's sensation? You can't see one another's. You might at the most see the legs of somebody as you are walking, not more than that. But still, these two traditions are there. One possibility is that observing one sensation at a very high stage, it so happens that one becomes very sensitive not only of one's own sensation, but very sensitive of the sensations of the atmosphere around, of things animate, inanimate around, what kind of vibrations are coming from there. If in that way it is taken, it's a different thing altogether. But otherwise, to see the breath of the other person, to feel the sensation of other person while you are practicing in your normal course, I think that's not workable. So better it is inside one's own body and the surface of one's own body. And the next station again, Samuday Dhammanupassiva Vedanasu Viharati, the arising of the Vedana. Vai Dhammanupassiva Vedanasu Viharati, the passing away of the Vedana. And Samuday Vai Dhammanupassiva Vedanasu Viharati, arising and instantly passing of Vedana. Now these stations are very important. Whether you work with this chapter or that chapter, this paragraph or that paragraph, they are absolutely essential. You have to pass through these stations. And then, Athivedanativa panassasati pachupathita hoti. Now in the previous chapter, every paragraph ended, Athikayoti. This is body, mere body, just mass of subatomic particles. Just mass of subatomic particles arising and passing. The valuation goes away, the judgment goes away, the recognition goes away, the sanya can't work there, because when sanya is there, then it will say this body, oh, this body is an animal's body, this body is a man's body, or amongst the man body also, this is female body, this is male body, or this is beautiful body, or this is ugly body, or this body or that body. You differentiate one with the other. But when you are in Vipassana to that depth, then just body as body. Similarly in Vedana, initially when you start, then this is pleasant, this is unpleasant, this is Samish, this is Niramish, this is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, Samish, Niramish. But ultimately you have to reach the stage where just Vedana as Vedana, sensation as sensation, no judgment, no valuation, no sanya. And the sati, the awareness must get established as Vedana, just Vedana. And then you have to proceed on the path, Yavadev, till the stage where Jnanamattaya, mere understanding, Patissatimattaya, mere observation, Anissito cha viharati, no support, not depend on anything. Nakinchiloke upadiyati, there is nothing in the universe of the mind and matter. The loke is always the mind and matter. The universe of mind and matter, there is nothing to grasp. Evam pikho bhikkhave bhikkhu vedanasu vedananupassi viharati. This is how a meditator, a Vipassana meditator, meditates Vedana in Vedana. As we were discussing the other day, Vedana plays such an important part. I would say this was the greatest contribution of this enlightened person to the humanity. Vedana is a point. The entire law of nature is such that Vedana is a point. It is like a junction from where one road starts, and that road is Dukkha Samudaya Gamini Patipada, the road which keeps on generating misery after misery. And it is a junction. The same Vedana is a junction for Dukkha Nirodhagamini Patipada, where the misery gets eradicated till it reaches a stage where there is no more misery. Vedana plays such an important part because it was his discovery going deep inside that every time one reacts, every time one generates a sankhara of craving or aversion, one generates when there is a feeling, when there is a sensation, pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, then only one reacts. If one has not reached the station, or if one has not experienced the sensation, one may be under the impression that I am free from craving, I am free from aversion, and yes, one is free from craving, free from aversion, just at the surface level of the mind, at the intellectual level of the mind. But deep inside, the Vedana is there all the time. All the time, wherever there is life, throughout the body, every particle of the body, there is some Vedana, some sensation or the other. And this deepest level of the mind keeps on reacting to these sensations, and this process of reaction continues, and one remains under the delusion that, well, look, I am free from craving, I am free from aversion, I am not reacting to this outside word or sound or this vision or this smell or this taste. Look, I am not reacting. Wonderful, I am not reacting. Yes, you are not reacting, but only the surface level of your mind is not reacting. With this contact of the object on the sense door, there is bound to be a sensation in the body, and that you are missing. And when you are missing Vedana, the sensation on the body, you are also missing the reality of your reaction to this Vedana. And this is what was found out by Buddha, that unless you go to the depth where you feel a sensation, within the framework of the body, you feel a sensation, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, whatever it is, you feel it, you are aware of it, and yet you are not reacting. When you are not reacting, then you are changing the habit pattern of this deepest level of your mind, and this is how these deep-rooted sankharas start coming up and passing away. This anushaya kilesha, these deep sankharas, like line drawn on the rock with chisel and hammer, which remain so deep, they come out only when you experience sensations on the body and remain equanimous. Otherwise, the process of multiplication continues. Therefore, Vedana plays such an important role in Satipatthana. And the next, Chittanupassana. Now the Anupassana, the Vipassana, or continuous Vipassana of Chitta, the mind. Kathanjapana bhikkhave bhikkhu chitte chittanupassi viharati. How a meditator practices the observation of chitta in chitta, the mind in mind, means direct experiencing of the mind. How will you have direct experience of the mind? How to come out of the imagination about the mind? As you can't have direct experience of the body unless you feel the body, so also you can't have a direct experience of the mind unless something happens in the mind. Something is happening in the mind, and then you feel, look, something is happening in the mind, and it has happened and passed away. Now something else has happened and passed away. Something else has happened and passed away. This is how you can feel the mind. Therefore, idha bhikkhave bhikkhu sairaganga va chittanga sairaganga chittanga tipajanati. Sairagang, rag means craving. Sairagang means with craving. When the mind is with craving, that means something is happening in the mind. The craving is arising in the mind. One observes, well, look, now my mind is a mind of craving. Sairagang. Sairaganga va chittanga sairaganga chittanga tipajanati. And then when that passes away, then vitaraganga va chittanga vitaraganga chittanga tipajanati. Now look, this raga, this craving has gone away. So now one can see there was craving arising, now it has gone away. So no craving. Now the mind is a mind free from craving. That also one observes. Saidu sangava chittanga chittanga tipajanati. Saidosa, Dosha means aversion. Say dosha with aversion. Oh, now the mind is a mind with aversion, and one observes this reality, the mind is the mind with aversion. Say dosang va chittang, say dosang chittang tipajanati. Vita dosang va chittang, vita dosang chittang tipajanati. When that aversion has passed away, then one understands, one observes, well, look, now the mind is free from aversion. Similarly, Sayamuhangava chittang sayamuhanga chittang tipajanati. When the mind is full of delusion, moha means illusion, delusion, confusion, ignorance, all that is moha. Sayamuhangava chittang, when the mind is a mind of moha, of ignorance, then one observes the fact that, look, now the mind is a mind with moha, sayamoha, ignorance. Vitamohanga chittang vitamohanga chittang tipajanati. When that ignorance goes away and mind is free from ignorance, then now the mind is vitamoha. And similarly, sankhitang va chittang sankhitang chittang tipajanati. Sankhitang. When the mind gets concentrated, when the mind gets collected, one is aware, look, the mind is now collected. It's not wandering too much. It is collected. And just one observes it and accepts it. Sankhitang va chittang sankhitang chittang tipajanati. And vikhittang va chittang vikhittang chittang tipajanati. Sankhitang is collected, concentrated. Vikhittang is scattered. When the mind is scattered all around, then it is vikhittang, vikhittang chittang. Then mahaggatang va chittang mahaggatang chittang tipajanati. In those deeper jhanas, when one imagines the mind expanding to limitless area, that is called mahaggat. It is so big. So now my mind is mahaggat, so large. And amahaggat, it is not that large. Then amahaggat va chittang, amahaggat chittang tipajanati. And then say uttarang va chittang, say uttarang chittang tipajanati. Say uttarang, that means the present mind has a scope of further development. That means there are minds which are higher than this mind, better than this mind. Now my mind is not the final highest mind. My mind has got some other reality, some other quality which is yet to come to it. Say uttarang. And so, anuttarang va chittang anuttarang chittang tipajanati. Now, my mind has nothing superior than that. It has reached the final goal, the highest stage. Samahitang va chittang samahitang chittang tipajanati. Deeply absorbed in the samadhis, one understands, look, my mind is deeply absorbed in the samadhis. Aisamahitang va chittang aisamahitang chittang tipajanati. Now it is not so deeply absorbed and realizes, yes, it is not deeply absorbed. Vimuttang va chittang vimuttang chittang tipajanati. Vimuttang, liberated. The mind is now liberated and one observes this, yes, the mind is liberated now. Avimuttang va chittang avimuttang chittang tipajanati. The mind is in bondage, it is not liberated, and one understands, yes, in bondage, it is not liberated. And then the same stations, the same sentences which come in every section, in every chapter, in every paragraph of every chapter. Itti ajjattanga va chitte chittanupassi viharati bahiddha va chitte chittanupassi viharati. Ajjatta bahiddha va chitte chittanupassi viharati. The mind inside, the mind outside, and the mind both inside and outside. Again, this tradition does not take the mind of myself and the mind of somebody else. Of course, at a very high stage of purification, one develops certain psychic powers by which one can read the mind of others, but now it is just stations which are not the final stations. So, what is the chitta inside and what is the chitta outside? When the mind inside is in contact with the objects which are within the framework of the body, then the mind is experiencing things within the framework of the body, and we say it is mind inside. Mind always remains inside, it don't go out, but then the object from outside. When the mind is working with the objects from outside, like the sound coming in ear, the mind feels within the framework of the body. Sound is coming from outside, comes in contact with the ear, and the mind feels it. Or a shape, a form coming in contact with the eyes, or similarly smell, nose, a taste to the tongue, something tangible to the body, or a thought of something outside coming in the mind. Still, the whole process is within the framework of the body, where the object is inside or outside. So mind involved with the object inside or with the object outside, that is what is meant. And then again another station, Vai dhammanupassiva chittasming viharati samuday dhammanupassiva chittasming viharati Vai dhammanupassiva chittasming viharati samuday vai dhammanupassiva chittasming viharati. Arising and then passing, and then arising, passing instantly. And passing through these important stations, one reaches the stage where one finds atti chittanti. This is chitta, this is mind. Not my mind or your mind or his mind or her mind. Mind is mind. Mind, the cognizing faculty, that's all. The vijnana, just mind. No I about it, no mine about it, no myself about it. That stage one has to reach where chitta is just chitta, the mind is just chitta, and sati pachupathita hoti. The observation gets established in this stage where mind is just mind. Yavadev, and continues in this stage till one reaches where Yavadev jnanamattaya, where there is only wisdom, only understanding, and patisatimattaya, only observation. Anissito cha viharati. There is nothing to support. Nache kinchi loke upadiyati, nothing to grasp. A Vipassana meditator understands how, when you are just aware of something, the vijnana part of the mind, which only cognizes, its job is only to cognize. When it stops there, that means all the bondages which follow. When there is only vijnana, cognizing, there is no valuation, there is no sensation, there is no reaction. Now all these three, the sanya which gives valuation, the sensation, the vedana and the reaction, they are all process of multiplication of the misery, But this high stage, all these three stop, and then there is only vijnana. Knowing is knowing, that's all. Nothing beyond that. As the other day we were discussing about that recluse, a very old recluse living near Bombay. He walked all the way to Savasti, more than 1,000, 2,000 miles to meet Buddha. And his life was so short, the Buddha had to give him a teaching which was suitable for this person, because he was already developed in 8 jhanas. And what Buddha says is, ditthe dittamattang bhavishyati. In seeing, there is only seeing, that's all. Only seeing, nothing beyond that. No valuation, no feeling, no reacting, just seeing as seeing. Hearing as hearing, smelling as smelling, tasting as tasting, touching as touching, and so also vijnane as vijnane, cognizing as cognizing, that's all. When one reaches that stage, then only one can transcend to the Nibbanic stage, otherwise not. It takes time to reach that stage. Now what we all are practicing now is understanding this process. Something has come in contact with this one sense door or the other. All the sense doors are stationed on the body. So body is very important. On the body, ear, nose, eyes, tongue, body, touch, and the mind. Some object has come in contact. The Vijnana part cognizes, look, something has happened at this sense door or that sense door. Then the Sanya part says, oh, this is good, this is bad. Valuation is given to that. And with this evaluation, the sensation that has started becomes pleasant, unpleasant. And then the sankhara, the reaction starts. The reaction starts means the bondage starts, the misery starts. This is the habit pattern from lives together. This is what is happening. This part of the mind, whose job is merely to cognize, the Vijnana, is so weak that as soon as it cognizes, the other parts start overpowering it. The Sanya will overpower, the Vedana will overpower, and the Sankhara will overpower. The Sankhara becomes stronger. When the Vijnana is weaker, the Sankhara is stronger. That means the misery is stronger. The bondage is stronger. And now what we are doing is, we try to make this part, the cognizing part, the Vijnana, stronger. As this becomes stronger, the Sankhara part becomes weaker. The Sanya becomes weaker. Till Yavadeva Jnana Mattaye, one reaches a stage where there is only Vijnana, nothing else. All others are stopped. Now what happens in those 8 jhanas we are talking, which Buddha, before becoming Buddha, he practiced from other teachers. The 8th of that, the name of the 8th jhana is Naiva Sanya, Na Sanya. Neither you can say that there is Sanya, nor you can say that there is no Sanya. The Sanya has become very feeble, but you can't say that there is no Sanya. Sanya is still there. And because Sanya was still there, he says he is not liberated. And therefore he developed with this Vedana, Sampajanya, and he developed this Lokottar jhana, the Vipassana. And with that he gave the name, he said, 9th jhana now I give you. And the 9th jhana is Sanya Vedayata Nirodha. There is no more Sanya now, there is no more Vedana now. And that's how one goes to the final goal of Nibbana. So long as this Sanya is working, although it is feeble, still because of this Sanya, Sankhara will react. Because of Sanya, Sankhara will react, and the process of multiplication will continue. It must be totally eradicated, and that is only the cognizing as cognizing, Vijnana as Vijnana. And the next we come to Dhammanupassana. Well, as I said, Kayanupassana is not complete unless something arises on the Kaya. And what arises on the Kaya is called Vedana. So also Chittanupassana is not complete unless something arises on the Chitta. And we have seen there, Sairagam, Saidosam, Saimoham, this arises in the mind, now the mind is a mind with this, now the mind is a mind with this. Then only you can know, look, there is something happening in the mind, it has passed away. Something has happened in the mind, that has passed away. Then you can feel your mind. Then you can experience your mind. Otherwise it will be just a imagination of the mind. Now what is contained in the mind is called Dhamma. Dhamma, it is a word which carries so many meanings. It is so difficult to translate this word, like many other words also, but this is the most difficult word to be translated in any foreign language. All languages are very weak. They can't have any equivalent word of Dhamma, because Dhamma has got such a vast field. In short, understand how it started. The word Dhamma, its root is Dhare Tete Dhamma, what one contains. What one contains is Dhamma. What is contained is Dhamma. Dhareti Dhamma. So if mind, whatever mind contains, is Dhamma. And then the next further explanation of Dhamma came, Attano Sabhav, Attano Lakkhanang Dhareti Dhamma. Now whatever is arisen in the mind, whatever is arisen, that is the content of the mind. Now whatever is arisen, what is this containing? Say raga, the craving has arisen in the mind. Or dosa, the aversion has arisen in the mind. Now what is contained by this craving? What is contained by this aversion? And then the explanation is given that its characteristic, its nature. Raga contains its own nature. Craving contains its own characteristic. The aversion contains its own characteristic. The anger contains its own characteristic. Its characteristic. And then the word Dhamma started being used as nature, as character, as it is used also now in some of the languages in India. Not very vastly, but sometimes, as somebody says, the Dhamma of the fire is to burn. That means the nature of the fire is to burn. If the fire is not burning, then it's no fire. With the characteristic of burning, then only fire is fire. Similarly, it can be said, the Dhamma of the ice is to cool. If it doesn't cool, then it's not ice. Similarly, the Dhamma of raga, craving or aversion, is to make one agitated, miserable. This is the Dhamma. The Dhamma of metta, love, karuna, compassion, is calmness, harmony, peace. This is the nature. This is the quality. Now Dhamma started used in this way, how it expanded this word. And then after a few centuries, two divisions of made of Dhamma, Kusala Dhamma, Akusala Dhamma. Dhamma is Dhamma, the nature, the character, the quality. Akusala, unwholesome. Kusala, wholesome. The contents of the mind which results in an unwholesome fruit, that Dhamma is unwholesome for you. The result is wholesome, gives you a better life. It is kusala. That means all the impurities that one contains in the mind, like anger, hatred, ill will, animosity, passion, fear, ego, etc., they are all taken as akusala, unwholesome, impure. And all those which go to the credit of yours, like love, compassion, goodwill, selfless service, etc., all those dhammas, they are taken as kusala. And it went on like this for some time. The word Dhamma was used as Kusala Dhamma or Akusala Dhamma. We find in old literatures also this word being used as pure Dhamma, impure Dhamma, Kanna Dhamma, Sukha Dhamma, the black Dhamma, the white Dhamma, these words are used. And then slowly a time came that whatever was wholesome, only that was called as Dhamma. And whatever is unwholesome was called Adhamma, against Dhamma. Because something that we bear in us, that is contained in us, which takes us to the final goal of liberation, is Dhamma for us. And something which makes us rotate in misery is anti-Dhamma. And this is how this word Dhamma, which was Kusala, Akusala, now it became Dhamma and Adhamma, or Dhamma and or Papa, the piety or sin. So this word kept on expanding in different ways. And then Dhamma nature. Law of nature. The entire thing, when you say what mind contains, as you observe what mind contains, you start understanding the law, the nature. What happens? What happens when the mind contains anger? What happens when the mind contains love, compassion? And what is the next? What is the next? Because of this, this will happen. Because of this will happen. The law of nature will become clearer and clearer. So nothing wrong in saying that Dhamma is the content of the mind, and nothing wrong in saying that Dhamma is the characteristic of whatever is contained in the mind, and nothing wrong in saying that Dhamma is the law of nature, the law of universe. So understanding that, we come to this Dhammanupassana. Nivaran Pabbang. The section of Nivaran. Now when you come to ordinary 10-day courses, you hear about 5 enemies: the craving, the aversion, the drowsiness, the agitation, and the doubts. These 5 are called your enemies. But in the words of Buddha, in the ancient language, they are called Nivarana. Same meaning. Nivarana is like a cover, a curtain that does not allow you to see things as they are. When you're craving in your mind, the color of craving comes and you can't see the reality as it is. When it's aversion in your mind, you can't see the reality as it is because the color of aversion is there. Similarly, agitation, similarly drowsiness, similarly doubts will not allow you to see things as they are. An example is given like in those days there were no mirrors. People used to see their face in clean water, in a pot, in light. If this water is not clean, if this water is muddy, you can't see the reflection of your face there. Or if this water is colored, you can't see the reflection of your face properly. Or if it's agitated, you can't see. So all these are nivaranas, they are obstacles in your observing the reality as it is. These 5 nivaranas, which we say the 5 enemies, because so long as these are there, one cannot proceed on the path of observing the reality as it is. Kathanchapana bhikkhave bhikkhu dhamme sudhammanupassi viharati. How a meditator observes Dhamma in Dhamma. Again, with experience, no imaginations, no mere speculation, not just contemplation, but experience. Idha bhikkhave bhikkhu dhamme sudhammanupassi viharati. This is how one practices Dhamme Sudhammanupassi. Panchasu Nivaranesu, these 5 barriers. Kathanchapana bhikkhave bhikkhu dhamme sudhammanupassi viharati panchasu nivaranesu. How one practices these 5 nivaranas. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu santang va ajjatang kamachandang. Santang, when there is it present, when there is ajjatang, inside, kamachandang, a craving of sensual pleasures. Atthime ajjatang kamachandoti pajanati. One just accept the fact that at this moment there is a craving for sensual pleasures. When there is a craving for sensual pleasures, you are just aware there is a craving for sensual pleasure. Aisantang va ajjatang kamachandang. When there is no such craving for sensual pleasures, nathime ajjatang kamachandoti pajanati. One understands, look, now there is no craving for sensual pleasure in my mind. The reality as it is, from moment to moment, whatever it is, you just observe the reality. When there is this craving, you are just aware there is craving. When there is no craving, you are just aware there is no craving. And by practicing Vipassana, you know, things arise, they don't stay forever, they are not eternal, they arise, sooner or later they pass away. They arise, sooner or later they pass away. So this craving factor also, it is a reason, and sooner or later it has passed away. It arises, it passes away. Samudaya vai dhammanupasya. It arises, it passes away. It arises, it passes away. This reality one is observing. Yathacha anuppannasya kama chandasya uppado hoti tansa pajanati. Yathacha, when anuppannasya kama chand, such craving of sensual pleasure which were lying very deep inside, which had never come up on the surface, now one sees that those which had not come on the surface are now coming on the surface. Anuppannasya kama chandasya uppado hoti. Look, they have arisen. Yathach uppannasya kama chandasya pahananga hoti tansa pajanati. Such impurity of craving when comes on the surface and you're observing, layers after layer, they get eradicated. Pahananga hoti. They get eradicated. And then, yathacha pahinasya kama chandasya, such eradicated craving, ajating anuppado hoti tancha pajanati. One reaches a stage, eradicating layers after layers, chunks after chunks of the accumulated impurities of craving. One reaches a stage where all this accumulated craving has gone away. And whatever has gone away is not coming back. When one reaches the final stage of arhanthood, then all this craving accumulation which has gone away can never come back. Because that habit pattern of generating craving is totally changed. And one has experienced the stage of full liberation and coming back to the sensual field again, this mind and matter field, one does not generate a new sensation, a new craving, a new sankhara of craving. And that is what it means here, the last stage, yathacha pahinasya, whatever is totally eradicated, kama chandasya ayating anuppado hoti, it does not arise now. Similarly, santanga va ajjattanga vyapadang atthime ajjattanga vyapado tipajanati. This aversion, look, now there is aversion in the mind. Santanga va ajjattang vyapadang nathime ajjattang vyapado tipajanati. At this moment, look, there is no more aversion. It has gone away. Yathacha anuppannasya vyapadasya uppado hoti tancha pajanati. The whole process of vipassana is given here. Whatever aversion had not arisen in the past, that was lying low, deep inside, sleeping volcanoes, now they have started coming up. Anuppannasya vyapadasya uppado hoti. It has arisen. Yathacha uppannasya vyapadasya pahananga hoti tancha pajanati. Now observe that these deep-rooted sankharas of aversion which have come on the surface, look, it is eradicated. It is eradicated. And when totally eradicated, then yathacha pahinasya vyapadasya ayating anuppado hoti tancha pajanati. Those which are totally eradicated, now they don't come back. Unless one has reached the final goal, what you say eradicated, again one starts generating because the habit pattern is there. So similar type of aversion will again start. You will start newly. But when you reach that final goal of arhanthood, then the whole habit pattern changes. It becomes impossible for a arhant to generate again craving or aversion. Similarly, others. Santanga va ajjattang thina middha atthime ajjattang thina middhang tipajanati. The drowsiness of the mind, drowsiness of the body. Santanga va ajjattang thina middhang nathime ajjattang thina middhang tipajanati. Now there is no such drowsiness. Yathacha anuppannasya thina middhasya uppado hoti tancha pajanati. These sankharas of drowsiness, they have come up now, which were lying deep inside. Yathacha uppannasya thina middhasya pahanaga hoti tancha pajanati. And look, they are getting eradicated. Yathacha pahinasya thina middhasya ayating anuppado hoti tancha pajanati. Now they can't come back again. Then again, santanga va ajjattang uddhacha kukkuchang atthime ajjattang uddhacha kukkuchang tipajanati. This agitation inside, One accepts there is agitation in the inside. Aisantangava ajjatang uddaccha kukkuchang nathime ajjatang uddaccha kukkuchang tipajanati. Now look, there is no more. They have gone. Yathacha anuppannassa uddaccha kukkuchassa uppado hoti tanchapajanati. Those which had not arisen, they were lying low, they have started coming up now. Yathacha uppannassa uddaccha kukkuchassa pahananga hoti tanchapajanati. They are getting eradicated from the root. Yathacha pahinassa uddaccha kukkuchassa ayating anuppado hoti pajanati. Those are eradicated from the roots, now they can't come back. Santangava ajjatang vichikitchang atthime ajjatang vichikitchati pajanati. The doubt, the skepticism, now the mind, the skepticism has arisen in the mind. Aisantangava ajjatang vichikitchang nathime ajjatang vichikitchati pajanati. At this moment there is no such doubt. Yathacha anuppannaya vichikitchaya uppado hoti tanchapajanati. Those which are lying deep inside, which had not arisen earlier, now they have started arising. Yathacha uppannaya vichikitchaya pahananga hoti tanchapajanati. Those deeper ones which have come on the surface now, they are getting eradicated from the root, at the root level. Yathacha pahinaya vichikitchaya ayating anuppado hoti tanchapajanati. All those doubts which have been removed are removed forever. They don't come back. And then again the same stations. Iti ajjattangava dhamme sudhammanupassi viharati. Inside. Bahiddava dhamme sudhammanupassi viharati. Outside. Ajjatta bahiddava dhamme sudhammanupassi viharati. Both inside, outside. And then samuday dhammanupassi va dhamme suviharati. The arising. And vai dhammanupassiva dhamme suviharati, and then samudaya vai dhammanupassiva, arising and passing both together. Samudaya vai dhammanupassiva dhamme suviharati. Now when you talk of these dhammas, again, one thing that was realized by this enlightened person, and which is a truth, it is not something created by this person. This is the law of nature. When anything arises in the mind, it starts flowing with a sensation on the body. Sabbe dhamma vedana samosarna. It gets culminated with the body sensation and starts flowing with the body sensation. There can't be a dhamma on the mind. There can't be even a slight thought in the mind without a sensation on the body. And when the sensation is there and the meditator is observing this sensation, feeling this sensation, then one is working properly. Otherwise, again, it will be intellectual game. Well, look, now anger has come in my mind, this anger. Now, look, the anger has gone away. Now, look, passion has arisen, passion, now it has gone away. Yes, it is true, at the surface level has gone away. But deep inside, the sensation remains. And you don't know that mind is still reacting with anger with these sensations. So that is why, so far as this tradition is concerned, we can't afford to miss our sensations on the body. Because sensation is sampajanyam, and the words of Buddha are so clear, sampajanyam na rinchati. You can't afford to miss sampajanya. Every moment there must be sampajanya. That means every moment there must be awareness of sensation, arising, passing, whether you are practicing Kayanupassana, and Kayanupassana of this paragraph or that paragraph, or whether you are practicing Vedananupassana, or whether you are practicing Chittanupassana, or whether you are practicing this Dhammanupassana, this paragraph or that paragraph, this sensation and arising and passing of the sensation plays such an important role, because without this you can't go to the depth of your mind. Without this you can't reach your accumulated impurities deep inside, and you can't eradicate them. You will be just playing at the surface level. And observing this, one comes to the stage, Atti dhamma tiva panassa sati pachupathita hoti. Oh, this is dhamma. That's all. This is dhamma. Neither good nor bad, nor mine nor yours. This is dhamma. This is law of nature. The nature of the contents of the mind. That's all. Yavadeva jnanamattaye patisati mattaye anisito cha viharati. Again the same stations and the same goal. Nache kinche loke upadiyati. Nothing to grasp. Evam pikho bhikkhave bhikkhu dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati panchasu nivaranesu. These 5 nivaranas, this is how one observes them and comes out of them by observing, 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 nothing but observing. When craving has arisen in the mind and you try to take it out by aversion, then you are generating a new sankhara of aversion. Whether aversion is towards this or towards that makes no difference. Aversion is aversion. Just accept. There is craving now in the mind. Just accept. And because you are just accepting, you are not reacting in the same way as this craving is arisen. You are not multiplying this nature of craving, reaction of the craving. You are not multiplying your misery. You are just observing, just observing. The process of the multiplication of this particular sankhara becomes weaker, 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 feebler, feebler, feebler. You are coming out of it. As craving, so aversion, like this, any impurity in the mind, you are just observing, just observing, just observing. A question came the other day when we were discussing about this particle, repulsive. This is not vipassana, manasikara. You just start at the intellectual level. Somebody who is so engrossed in this kind of sexual passion that one can't think anything but the beauty of the body. Oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. He's so mad after it. So mad. So to bring this person on the right thinking, well, what you are mad after? What this body is after all? Look what this body is. Just to bring him on the right path of at least thinking. But when the actual practice of vipassana starts, then all that aversion goes away. You're not supposed to have aversion towards this ugly body or what body. Body is body, whatever it is. You just observe. You just observe and feel the sensation in it arising, passing, and you are coming out of here. But one who is so very much engrossed in this sexual passion is not in a position to observe sensations, is not in a position to observe the reality inside. All the time the mind remains so very much overpowered by this particular impurity, similarly other impurities. So when those impurities keep on overpowering you, then the first step is to give a proper line of thinking. At least at the thinking level, you come on the track. And then you start working vipassana. Otherwise, you are not fit to practice vipassana. So understand, when you come to vipassana, then yatha bhuta jnana dasanam. Yatha bhuta. Whatever has happened now. At this moment, whatever has happened, dasanam. You are just observing it. Jnana. You are observing with wisdom. Wisdom of arising and passing. With this wisdom, you just observe. That's all. You've done nothing. Neither you try to push it out, nor you try to retain it. However good it may be, you don't try to retain it. However bad it may be, you don't try to push it out. Yatha bhuta pajanati. Just remains aware of it. Pajanati, with the understanding of anicca, anicca, anicca. And this is how one starts moving in the proper line, where one reaches the final goal of full liberation. Quite true, the final goal is pretty far, but yet, however long the path may be, every path starts with the first step on the path. And then when you start taking the right step on the right path, step by step, you reach the final goal. So whatever you work on the path of vipassana, nothing goes waste. Even if you've taken few steps on the path, that much benefit you have started getting. No effort will go waste. Little effort, you will get little benefit out of it. More effort, you will get more benefit out of it, but you will get benefit. Nothing goes waste on the path. So don't get disheartened that, look, for me, the final liberation is far away. Oh no, step by step, you started taking steps on the path, in the right direction, on the right path, you are coming nearer and nearer to the final goal. However far the goal may be, you have taken one step, you are one step nearer. You've taken 10 steps, you're 10 steps nearer, and like this, step by step, sooner or later, you are bound to reach the final goal. May all of you make use of the time that is there now. Make use of this facility that is here now. And make use of this wonderful technique, understanding it very well with the direct words of Buddha, the Enlightened One. and keep on walking on the path step by step, step by step. Try as much as possible not to miss sampajanya, not to miss sensations on the body, not to miss your wisdom of arising, passing. In every situation, whatever you do at the physical level, only when you are in deep sleep, leaving that time aside, try to be aware. Sampajanyam, for your own good, for your own benefit, for your own liberation. May you all get liberated from the bondages, the miseries. Bhavat Sarva Mangalam Bhavat Sarva Mangalam Bhavat Sarvamangalam. You may take rest for about 5 minutes. Take rest with sampajanyam and come back and sit and start working with sampajanyam.